Hello and welcome to
A Couple Codes.
And welcome back, M.
Thank you! Happy to be back. I was...
Go ahead.
I was sick for the past week and a half, so I've been resting, but I did get some coding in, but I was mostly resting. But I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Cody can't be here with us today, but...
I really wanted to meet him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Maybe one of these shows we'll get him on again.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So we've been coding with the Odin project for the past 24 weeks. We're going to give you an update on where we're at with our progress. So, Em, where are you at in the curriculum?
I am 64% of the way through the JavaScript course, and I'm currently working on the battleship project.
Cool. The battleship project. So that was a pretty significant project kind of coming out of the computer science courses and that kind of stuff. So what's something significant that you learned?
The most significant thing has just been the practice of focusing on one problem at a time, which is very easy to say, and I say it a lot, but it takes consistent effort to keep practicing it. But using the test-driven development method helps to make that goal a lot easier to accomplish, because you're supposed to only test one problem at a time, so thereby you only focus on one problem at a time.
Okay, so the battleship project, if I remember, I had loads of problems with that. What's the biggest challenge that you had past week and a half on working on the battleship project?
Well, the first challenge was just setting the project up because this is my first time using Webpack, ESLint, Prettier, Babel, and Jest all together. And so I had to install some plugins and adjust some config files.
Sweet plugins.
Yeah, just to make everything work together.
Some tasty treats for your dev environment.
Yes, getting that dev end set up. And I did update my new project guide on GitHub as I was doing it so that I can apply this to future projects as well. My other major challenges have been trying to keep all of my functions as pure as possible. That was a big focus of this lesson. And so I've been trying to put that into practice. That has been pretty challenging. And trying to avoid like loop dependencies, because I have a lot of different JavaScript files and I'm trying to avoid having all of them depend on each other. And the fourth challenge has just been dipping my feet back into CSS, because I've been doing all JavaScript for the past maybe 4 or 5 projects.
Computer science course.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just working on the console.
So, yeah, it's interesting, challenging, and fun to be doing the user interface again. But how about you? Where are you in the curriculum?
I'm still working on the final JavaScript project. Because I'm making this website all on my own, I'm not replicating anything, it is going to take a pretty long time, and also splitting my time with the data structures and algorithm stuff. So, I mean, I guess I shouldn't keep saying that going forward. Maybe if you know that, you know that. But yeah, I'm working on that.
What has been the most significant thing that you've learned?
So I'm going to just dump significant and challenging into one category this week, because I have been working on something to create a flavor wheel, which, if you don't know what a flavor wheel is, it's essentially a circle with arcs, and it's got like an inner circle and an outer circle, and you can have multiple layers, as many as you want if you really want to. But they're very popular in the food industry and like in the sensory world. They kind of show offy of, oh, we got a flavor wheel. So I'm creating this thing to essentially allow the user to see where they're at when they're adding data to their sensory lexicon, so they can build their lexicon with this interactive flavor wheel. And I wanted to use a JavaScript library called D3, which is data-driven documents, to visualize the flavor wheel. And it's a little bit rough trying to get an understanding of D3. I understand what D3 can do, but not necessarily how to do it. So I tried to do that with just diving into D3, but this week I actually went a little bit deeper into it and trying to understand what's going on under the hood by creating SVG drawings myself with SVG elements. So that's like creating an arc with the mathematical like computations to do that of a lot of like trigonometry essentially. And now I'm actually going back into D3 because I think I have a decent understanding of what D3 is doing and how it is working from that kind of basic level. So now I think I'm actually going to be able to make the lexicon in the way that I want it. Essentially, I want the word to be within the arc, but it's not very straightforward of how you go about doing that because it's not like something that a lot of people do. It's not a very useful thing outside of sensory stuff.
Flavor wheels.
Yeah. But I'm learning the fundamentals of like SVG drawing, and the biggest challenge is actually getting this thing working.
Are you having a hard time at all deciding how far to go with this project since you are kind of diverging from the curriculum and creating it yourself? I feel like it could be easy to go through a rabbit hole with it.
Yeah, this is definitely a rabbit hole, and it is kind of an intentional rabbit hole because I want to make this thing. But that's why I'm trying to do the DS, data structures and algorithm stuff alongside of this so that I'm kind of
still making progress.
Still learning things and making progress to getting prepared to be interviewed. And to go through that whole interview process. I think there may come a point where I maybe stop it and then come back to it for the back end stuff.
Okay.
But it is definitely, if you're doing the Odin project and like you want to be quick about it, I would just follow the instructions and replicate a website. Don't do what I'm doing right now.
Now, how far are you in the data structures and algorithms coursework?
So I'm following this guy's specific kind of path. It was someone who did the Odin project, and I'm on part 1 essentially of like the whole process, and it's currently just getting breadth of understanding of what are data structures and algorithms. So breadth means like getting a wider picture of what is possible, not necessarily going into the specific details and hammering away at them, but just essentially right now I'm working through a textbook that's online, and I'm reading through it, taking notes on specific prioritized data structures and algorithms based off of another list that I found. So I'm not like trying to understand everything deeply, and I'm reading through it, and once I'm done, I'll have those notes, and then I'll work on going in depth with specifics for data structures and algorithms and implementing them, and specifically problems, understanding where you would use those specific algorithms with specific problems and their characteristics.
Okay.
So, and then the last thing would be practicing just like leak code stuff and just like practice problems, doing them over and over and over again. So that's more of a training kind of thing.
Well, once you have an understanding of the breadth, you know what you could do?
Make a loaf?
Breadth first search.
Oh.
That was really
make a loaf.
Dumb joke. I like make a loaf. Well, that is all that we have time for today. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoy these updates, and subscribe if you'd like to follow along on our web dev journey.
Thanks for tuning into
A Couple Codes.